Hi, I'm Brian Larsen. For those of you that don't know me, hello. For those of you that do, it's good to see you again. It's been a couple weeks since I posted to LinkedIn that I'm looking for my next career opportunity, and really appreciate everyone who's given me support and lent their encouragement. It means a lot to me. I really do appreciate it. It's been a good few weeks. I've had some interviews. I've had some conversations with CEOs about their companies and where they're headed and how my skills might help. It's also given me a chance to look back at my career, what I've done, what I haven't done, and what I would like to do next. And if you know me, change fuels my battery, and that reboot moment is very invigorating for me. It's also given me an opportunity to work on a passion project I've had in mind for a couple of years, and I'd like to share a little bit about that with you today. I will have an announcement next week, so that's a bit of a teaser. Stay tuned. I will tell you it is not multi-level marketing, so I am not going to try and make money off of anybody here, just to make that clear. And that'll be clear next week. But today I'd like to share the kernel of that idea and how it came to me and why it means something to me. I was watching an interview with a professional golfer. And she had been successful for the first few years of her career. She had won some tournaments, made some top tens, was very competitive. And then she fell off and had a couple years where she really struggled to be competitive, to make cuts, and to win anything. And then she started to win again. And after one of the victories, and a reporter asked her, said, "What's happened? Like, how did you rebuild? How did you come back?" And she said, I was working with a coach and I latched onto this phrase. If you find your why, you'll find your way. And boy, that resonated with me right away. Now, I know it's corny pop psychology. You post that on Instagram, you burn it on a piece of driftwood and put it in your office or your gym for motivation. It means something, it means nothing. And yes, Simon Sinek does this with businesses, helping them find their way around ethos and mission so that people can achieve more with a shared vision than they can as individuals in a company. But it's different because it's personal. Find your why, find your way. And so when you look back, especially when I look back at my career, there's a narrative, right? There's a narrative thread to pull through. When you're going through it, it's a series of decisions. But when you look back, you can find this narrative to pull through. And this one resonated with me. Find your why, find your way. And so I started to think about my why. And I want to tell you where my why started. In 2000, 23 years ago, I started my first tech job at WeightWatchers.com. It was very much a startup in those days. It was a small company building web-based tools and products with a monthly subscription model. It had name recognition, so not in every way a startup, but in every other way. And I was working on two projects. One was password retrieval, put in your email address, we'll send you a link to reset your password. And the other was prorated refund. So if you came in a few days after your most recent charge, we'd give you some of your money back. And it's ubiquitous these days, password reset. It wasn't then. It was fairly new. So anyway, I was looking at these cancellation reasons, and a lot of them that were standard for any company, right? This doesn't work for me. It's too much time. It's too much money, et cetera, et cetera. It's just not working. And Weight Watchers, if you don't know, is a good program. Reduce calories, increase exercise, do it gradually, no foods off limits, lifestyle change, become healthier. There was this other thread of cancellations, and there's some humanity in this cancellation process. People would say things like, my daughter signed me up for this, or my sister, or my husband, my wife, and I don't want it. It's hard. Now, maybe this is not the right way to go about it. Maybe it's passive aggressive. I get all of that. But ultimately, it's a human seeing another human suffering and trying to find a way to reach them. And that's hard. And then to the end of that spectrum, it was a regular drumbeat. It wasn't all too frequent, but it was regular and measurable. Someone would write in and say, my husband has died. Can you please stop charging his credit card? Hard. And maybe we should understand this as part of that business, right? Being obese or overweight has a lot of comorbidities around kidneys and heart and diabetes and hypertension, et cetera, that can lead to premature death. And so maybe it should just be an expected part of the experience, but not any less hard. And so I remember vividly thinking, how do we solve for this problem? How do we meet people with compassion at that moment? But also, how do we solve for the larger problem? How do we solve for this? And I remember I was riding home on the subway in New York City, and I was thinking about this problem. And it's like a lightning bolt went off in the subway car. It occurred to me that for any person that had struggled and had died trying to lose weight, There were thousands of people that were trying to live. They were trying to live for one more day with the grandkids, to provide for their family, to have one more sunny day. They were trying to live. And I could help. Because you see, that password reset's a small problem. Giving you access to online to log your points and track your weight and make progress against this program, small problem, being able to log in, solves a big problem. And that's the thread. That's when I knew I could use the solving of small problems to solve really big problems. And I was hooked. I love customers. And so solving their problems, the small problems to solve the big problems, became my passion. This has been applied and reapplied at every level of my career, everywhere that I've gone. And so I'll tell you a little bit about that next week. How that evolves into my career trajectory and some things that I see that I feel like are valuable for other people as well. Anyway, I found my why. Solve small problems to solve big problems. And it's invigorating. It is really invigorating for me. That's my why. That's my thread. That's my narrative. I'll tell you more about how that applies to you, maybe, next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Appreciate you spending time with me. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.